Welcome in. I'm Kayla, and I talk about the hard topics people with chronic illnesses and their advocates might not know how to talk about or might not like talking about. And today I thought we could cover grieving your past self before you got sick. So let's get into it a little bit. My little PSA, as always, I am not a medical professional in any way. This is just what I've gone through or what I've seen others go through or researched. Everyone's story is a little bit different. Remember that. So I bet you have either heard and or said one time in your life, I wish I could go back to the younger me. Or I wish I could go back to the version of me before A, B, and C happened. Right? Because I have several times. When it comes to people with chronic illnesses, when we say that, we usually add before we got sick. And when we say we wish we could go back to the younger self before we got sick, we sometimes mean it on a very, very deep level. So let's get into my story a little bit so we can see what we mean. Here is little 9-year-old me. I was a super active kid, and I loved soccer with a passion. I loved horseback riding. I just really liked being outside, and I was pretty healthy. I mean, the only thing I struggled with was migraines starting at the age of 5, but besides that, I was happy and healthy and living a normal childhood life. In this picture, I believe I'm around 13 or 14, and I had started having some health issues at this point. I was diagnosed with a chronic regional pain syndrome that I had to get some therapy for, and some stomach issues, but it was all mostly mild things I was going through. And I still loved being outside, being adventurous. Because of the pain syndrome, I was no longer allowed to play soccer, but I was still pretty happy. Here I was around the age of 16, maybe 17. What a lot of people didn't really know was I was suffering with some pretty major health conditions at this time. I had already had 3 different surgeries, and I was also dealing with severe depression, some anxiety, but I still was happy through everything I was going through. But this is when it kind of started taking a downfall, was when I was 16 or 17. Here is me when I was 17, turning 18, my senior year of high school. And this is one of the last pictures I have of myself before my world turned upside down, before my future that I thought I wanted was about to be ripped out from underneath me. As a teenager, I wanted to go into the medical field. I wanted to be a nurse, and I took all of the classes that my high school offered, and I got college credit, and I was actually on my way to the pre-nursing program at my college, and I was also already working at the hospital because I had an internship there, and then they hired me outside of the internship, and I was volunteering. So everything that I wanted was medical based, and I felt like I was on track. Yeah, I had some health issues in the past, but I thought that they were gonna settle down. But one February Tuesday morning, I woke up horribly sick, and I never got better. I was suffering with a lot of stomach issues, and having that while you're trying to work and go to school is not possible for me at that time. I was dropping weight. So I actually had to quit my job at the hospital and quit volunteering and I deferred my fall program in college because my body was just giving out, so to speak. I was so sick that there wasn't really much I could do besides sleep, try to eat, and go to doctors. But it wasn't just those things, the big things that were taken away from me. It felt like everything was taken away from me. Because of the pain syndrome, I couldn't do sports anymore, so I couldn't play soccer. And I was so sick that I couldn't horseback ride anymore. And going outside was really, really difficult and not super possible because I was either in bed writhing in pain, or I was at a doctor's appointment, or I was admitted in the hospital. And all my hobbies and loves and everything that I wanted felt disappeared. And I turned into, honestly, probably a very mean and bitter person because I hated the world and I hated everyone who was in it because I didn't understand, like, I was doing everything I thought was right and felt like I was being punished for it. Thankfully, I don't believe that anymore, but it was a hard thing to learn. So when I say I want to go back to the younger self before I was sick, or if someone ever says I want to go back to before I was sick, they mean they want to go back to the person who didn't have to worry about their limitations. They didn't have to, like, worry about what was going to happen if you do a certain activity. You could just live a normal life, and you could do what you love without restriction. So yeah, I do grieve myself, the younger version of me. And that's okay, and that's completely normal. It happens for everyone. But what I learned was, yes, I may miss her, miss younger me. But because of what I've gone through and what happened after I got sick, and having to relearn who I really am, I was able to learn to love myself more. And then I was able to learn to love others even more. Because I had to look at life a little bit differently. Is there times I still want to go back? Of course, that'd be great. But would I ever take that chance now? No. If someone gave me a time machine, I would not take it. Because what happened sucked. But it was what was supposed to happen, and I'm a stronger person now. If you're struggling, please don't stay quiet. It is not something you ever have to go through alone. And if you are feeling these feelings, please know that it is normal and it is okay. But remember that once you feel the feelings, and you can sit there for a little bit and you can hate it, you have to remember to get back up and then find who you really are again. It's a little bit harder, but it's worth it. Just know you're not alone, and I'm rooting for you. And to all of my warriors, I am proud of you every single day. I say it time and time again. And you guys surprise and amaze me with how strong you are and how compassionate I see a lot of you are. So I hope you all have a safe day and know that you're loved and you're not alone. And we'll talk next time.